What if it's White Vision and Baby Groot? Two naive baby-type characters, just like encountering vending machines, encountering escalators, being like, what is this? How does it work? No need for closed captioning. It works in every language and every culture. You know what I mean? There's just no words. It's perfect. Welcome back to the Breakroom, everybody. It's a Monday. I'm Zach Huddleston. With me, I am thrilled to be joined by Maude Garrett's here.
Ditto.
And making a rare at the table appearance, producer Evan Yee's here.
Ooh, nice. There's a couple of helmets happening in your shot.
Yeah, and this side, yeah. New angle.
Yeah.
Not because of any specific reason.
That's right. Well, and if you notice anything a little different about today's show, there were some leaks in the roof. Oof. So some of the cameras and things like that have been moved for Eagle Eye viewers. If you're like, hey, isn't Zach normally sitting on the left side of the table? What? But we'll stay dry, or we'll slowly torture Maude into
waterboarding.
One drop at a time. Coming up on today's show.
I told you I tried that, right?
What?
Wait, you've been waterboarding? We got to save that tease for the second half of the show, Maude.
Stick around.
Will Blue Beetle 2 happen? Some very secret Daredevil stuff going on. Show us, you cowards. And Vision and Thanos returning to the MCU sometime soon.
What?
All of that and more on today's headlines-focused Breakroom show. There it is. There's that beautiful graphic. Headlines. Let's get into it. Starting off, Blue Beetle actor Xolo Maridueña snuck in a little tidbit in an interview. And speaking with Screen Rant at the Saturn Awards that were this weekend, he said, I know we'll see Blue Beetle again, whether it comes in the form of Blue Beetle 2 or wherever. He kind of goes on to say that he's talked to James Gunn and Peter Safran, and they are folding us into their new universe, even though that wasn't the original plan. Wow.
I think that's really lovely of James Gunn. I mean, you have to understand this guy is navigating the shitstorm that is just like scratching DC to build from the ground up. And I really felt for the movie Blue Beetle because it came out like we'd heard about James Gunn taking over and scrapping everything else and recasting for all the things that we'd been preparing for. And then the movie came out. And I know that a lot of people were like, well, what's the point? What's the point in watching this if we're just
especially a brand new character. It wasn't even like a legacy character that we'd seen before, right? The first kind of thing in film. That movie also got kneecapped because it came out during the strikes.
Yeah.
So Xolo and the other cast members didn't get to do any press and kind of get their flowers.
It was a billboard.
Yeah.
I think it would have been huge too because like the chemistry between Xolo and then the love interest Bruna, like in the movie, and then already there was a ton of fan speculation whether or not they were dating in real life. I think that would have been huge leading up to promoting that movie. Just like two young people who are very
telegenic and
like,
fun. Yeah.
DC actually needed that more than anything. They needed chemistry because there was such lack of.
With across the board.
Across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something to be said about Aquaman 2 making the most money that like any DC film has made in the past couple of years, just because of the the chemistry between like Jason Momoa and Patrick Wilson. You know, I mean that's maybe not like the driving factor, but it is like funny to look at out of all the movies they put out the last 2 or 3 years that Aquaman 2 is like that made the most at the box office for a movie that didn't even get a premiere.
Doesn't it consistently come out in the holiday break?
Holidays too,
So I think that...
Yeah, and especially kind of a light holidays that didn't have a lot of competition. That might have helped. But I don't want to discount Evan's chemistry theory.
No, I like it a lot.
Well, or like people like to see movies with starring people they want to hang out with. Maybe there's a little bit of that as well.
Oh yeah,
right?
Like a younger cast, like more accessible, just no matter like what the, kind of like background of the film is. I think it's just fun to see, like, I've said it before in our movie review, but just like, it is a nice origin story for a teenage character or, newly young adult character. And it all worked really well.
Also, what I'm hearing from this is that it's like, the teenage character that you want to hang out with, that you're introduced to for the first time. I'm so glad they picked Blue Beetle over the Flash. Like, that's a nice choice.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good. But the fact that, they're giving it another chance. I don't know if it'll be a Blue Beetle 2 per se.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be folded in. A lot like what we saw with the Flash, how you had a little bit of Batman
Right.
in there. You know, like they've teamed up. I'd love to see who he gets paired up with as sort of like what we had with Peter Parker and...
Iron Warrior, Doctor Strange.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see it kind of being like the mentor, the apprentice kind of angle.
Yeah.
But let me show you what it's like to be a hero with the big boys and girls. that
Yeah.
And asking the chat too right now, 75% or nearly 75 said that they would be down for Blue Beetle 2,
That's
which is
cool.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, though, to be fair, that's the alternative is...
No Blue Beetle.
That's right. Versus like Blue Beetle 2 or some other upcoming title.
Yeah.
Pick. You know what I mean? If
Right.
it's just like more movie or less movie, don't you
Yeah.
feel like people will always say more
More
movies?
movie?
Yeah.
But
Or
anyway.
what about if they're giving characters another chance?
Yeah. Oh, good point.
What about Batgirl?
Oh, that's
What
a
if
good
Blue
poll right there, Evan.
Batgirl. Like, what if James Gunn's like, you know what? She didn't get a movie. We filmed
Yeah.
the entire thing
In-
and scrapped
in-
a $30 million project.
But to bring back the same actress.
Yeah.
Right?
Like Leslie
Yeah.
Grace. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be
Right?
huge.
Come on, James Gunn. The power is yours. What's that from?
Captain Planet?
Yes!
Yeah.
That's how I
got it.
pictured James Gunn here. Just saving the universe. One
Yeah.
DC
Throwing rings
character
up
at
in
a
the air.
time. I'm a millennial.
Hell yeah, dog. Millennials in the chat, say what's up. Remember before the internet? In other news, and some Star Wars TV news.
Let's go. I love Star
Yeah,
Wars.
Mazio talking Star Wars. Ewan McGregor was doing an interview and was kind of asked about the potential for a Obi-Wan, or I'm sorry, Kenobi is the name of that series.
yeah,
Not
Kenobi.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's Kenobi season 2. And he said, I would love to do the second season, but there's no talk of it yet. There is a lot going on at Disney, which is like a great
Name
weird
one
sentence.
Name one thing that's
No,
happening at
it's
Disney.
a giant multi-billion-dollar company. There's always a lot going on, but I think he means like maybe in the restructuring of how they do Disney Plus series. Also, specifically, kind of the Lucasfilm corner of Disney seems like there's a lot going on with them kind of like figuring out what their film versus series slate is going to be. Also, Kenobi was not a Dave Filoni joint, and it feels like they're steering in a Filoni direction.
Yeah, yeah. And also, like, do you think that space is like...
Pun. That was a good one.
They're probably interested in exploring a different, like, time period, right? As opposed to Kenobi, which is before the prequel trilogy and the main trilogy, right? Now we're in this space that's, like, post... in between the original and then the sequel trilogy.
Yeah,
right?
and they want to go into like High Republic after all
Yes.
this.
Right.
Listen, I've got thoughts on this. I'm a Star Wars fan. I love my Star Wars. I was so ready for Kenobi. I was like, yes. I think that Ewan McGregor was the best part of the prequels, hands down. I saw what that man did to an average script, and he brought it to life. Now, I was excited that we get him back again.
Yeah.
And the time sort of worked out. I loved the fact that we got Anakin, Hayden Christensen. I don't want a season 2.
Yeah.
I don't think this show needs a season 2. I think that the first season wasn't very good. I think tonally it was the most out of place we've had Star Wars. And I think we kind of got Ewan doing his piece. We had the, Kid Leia. Sure, that was their moment. Great. Hayden Christensen got his redemption arc personally in Ahsoka. And I loved those moments. I don't want to keep milking this if it's not going to be brilliant. And I also am an advocate of, if you have a bad season, like, stop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm so
that's
sick
true,
of like,
yeah.
the first season was really bad, but it picks up in the second. This shouldn't be.
Tell a different story, right?
know what I
Yeah. Yeah. Especially, there's a lot of stories you can tell in the Star Wars universe, right? You don't have to be beholden. I will say it'd be interesting. Disney, like a lot of the streamers, does not release as much data about the performance. I can speak from like a Rockstars point of view, and like the Kenobi coverage we did great. People were engaged with that show, even though I think, like a lot of reviews and like audience feedback was mixed, I think, to be polite. What if even like it's not a Kenobi season 2, but like there's a story that Obi-Wan shows up in, played by Ewan McGregor.
I would love that.
Yeah,
I love Ewan
I don't think
McGregor.
his portrayal of the character is out of the question. He definitely, I feel like people would want to see him back, but maybe the show as the show, I don't know.
Yeah.
What part of sort of the timeline, because it has to be older. I mean, we obviously see the next iteration of him as Alec Guinness in the original trilogies. What other facet of that time would we want to explore?
It's also tough because like he's like kind of a hermit in hiding or whatever, and like he comes out of hiding in A New Hope, but like to make an interesting show, you kind of have to unhermit to do stuff in a show, and it's like how many times can a hermit unhermit?
Yeah.
Before a hermit ain't a hermit. You know what I mean? I don't know. We're going to talk about some other potential Marvel, Star Wars, Disney Plus stuff. But first, we want to shout out Factor Meals. Actually, Evan wants to specifically shout out Factor Meals.
Before we get into the rest of our headlines, we want to thank Factor for sponsoring today's episode of The Breakroom. Sometimes I wake up late and I have to rush into the studio, which means I don't have a lot of time to make lunch. And luckily, Factor takes care of that for me. Factor is a meal delivery service that makes eating well easier than ever by delivering fresh, never frozen meals right to your doorstep, so you can skip shopping, chopping, prepping, and cleaning, and just focus on eating deliciously. You've probably heard us say the same thing about HelloFresh in the past. Factor is now owned by HelloFresh, and we switch back and forth between the two all the time. Their meals are pre-prepared, chef-crafted, and dietitian approved. There are over 35 different options to choose from, including keto, calorie smart, vegan, veggie, and more. Plus, there are also over 55 nutrition-packed add-ons that help make your weekly meal planning even more delicious. And they're ready to eat in just 2 minutes, so you can go from, yeah, I guess I'm hungry, to having a fantastic meal at the speed of an impulse. Head to Factor75.com or click the link below and use code BREAKROOM50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and free wellness shots for life. 2 free wellness shots from 3 available flavors for every order while you're an active subscriber. And honestly, those flavor shots are pretty good. Brandon and I will drink those before the show.
There's a nice lemon cayenne one that is very refreshing. There's a green juice one that I don't enjoy, but I know I need to take. And then there's a good apple cider-y kind of one.
Yeah, that's digestion.
I love me some Factor Meals and whatever they'll send.
I will say this, I've actually used this company before, and I also go between HelloFresh. You're not paying me to say this, but I'm just letting you guys know that it's going to be completely unbiased here. The meal size is too big for me. So you are actually getting a lot
it
of
is
food
really
for,
filling.
So I will eat sort of like half to 2/3 of it if you're wondering how big the sizing is.
Yeah, we should pair up, Maude, because I feel like I could use an extra little bit. I don't, because it's a healthy portion size for me, but I'm such an overeater that I'm like...
Yeah, just keep eating.
I'm like so full when I finish it.
They have great sauces. I feel like that's their secret.
Sauces.
There's always a nice
Anything
cheesy
with a
or
mashed potato in it.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Fire.
very good. So that's Factor75.com. Use code BREAKROOM50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 3 wellness shots for as long as you subscribe.
Better throw me a meal, guys.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we'll get you some chicken parm or a turkey chili or something like that. Also, if you're in Southern California, maybe you live in Pomona. Maybe you're a Redondo Beach resident. Maybe you're in Panorama City. Van Nuys, where are you at? If you're in the general Southern California area, we are doing a live show a week from Thursday, February 15th at the Brain Dead Studios. We did one of these in November. It was a blast. We were so excited to do another one. This will be the week after the Super Bowl, so we'll have some new fancy trailers to talk about. It's right around the release of Madam Web, so we'll be talking about that. And who was in the Amazon when my mother died.
From the spider bite.
That's right.
From Spider Bite.
Hit the link in this video's description to grab some tickets. We'd love to see you. If you missed the last show, we'd love to see you at this one. Or if you didn't miss it, if you were at the last one, come to this one again. It'll be an all-new show. Lots of fun.
Yeah.
And
if you don't live in LA, we still love you.
That's right. That's right. We'll launch our world tour at some point. As soon as Kenobi Season 2 launches, we'll do our...
fuse your fates together like that. Ooh, okay, roll the dice.
Okay, now this is one of my favorite new segments of the show.
Do you like it? It's Maude's Monday Minute.
Yeah.
It's Monday, and we're going to get through 4 headlines. And I'm going to ask to have a timer put on. And I'm trying to get through as many headlines as possible, but I'm not writing these scripts. And honestly, we could shave a little down. I'm going to be real with you. Like, you're putting in some opinions there, which frankly, I will do myself. Alrighty, where's my timer?
All right, should we count her in? 3, 2,
Wait, my prompter.
1.
Please. The Grammys were last night, and some of our favourite things won, like Jedi Survivor, Barbie, Oppenheimer. They all took home awards, and also, if you haven't watched Tracy Chapman, get to it now! Do it! Cry! That's the way you'll actually release your tears as an adult. James Cameron gave the update to the Avatar franchise, saying that they're fully written through movie 5 and that he has ideas for 6 and 7. Calm down, Cameron. But when it comes to these movies, he'll probably be passing the baton, saying that mortality catches up. You can't live forever. We've tried. Casting. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 confirmed that Jim Carrey will return as Dr. Robotnik. Best things about the movie. Christian Ritter will be joining them, with many fans speculating that she's going to be playing Rogue the Bat. Also, Catherine O'Hara will be joining The Last of Us Season 2 in an undisclosed role. My therapist looks like her. It's the best therapy you can actually ever receive.
What?
Yeah. Hey, speaking of The Last of Us, rumors that a Part 3 video game is going to be coming because Neil Druckmann's like, I got an idea. And you know that that's going to probably work out, but not for years to come. And yeah, there you go. It's Cobra Kai Season 6 begun filming.
Yay! What a minute! What a minute!
Pretty much almost it.
Yeah.
There's part of me that's like, should we start the show with Maude's Minute? But then I don't know if that would kill watch time because people would be like, I got it. After a minute, I'm all done. You know?
You let us know where you think it should be in the show. Wait, did anything in there?
Oh, did we hit all of the? There was one more. What about the Super Bowl trailers?
Super Bowl trailers, you know.
You know I don't talk sport.
Fun fact, I'll say this for the internet. I was Francesca Scorsese's camp counselor at New York Film Academy.
Wow.
So it's great to see her succeed, you know, she's kind of like making a name for herself.
Feel the teeth.
Also doing the math on like, Martin Scorsese's old enough to be all of our grandfathers. Yeah. He has a daughter that Evan, who's not an old guy, was the camp counselor too. Like the Jenga does not stack up somehow.
Yeah.
What do you reckon he was like 67 then?
She's
we
can
young,
do the math off screen. No one needs to know how old I am.
That's really fun. You have so many good stories from growing up in the New York area. And then there was one fun one there. Godzilla -1 just ended its theatrical run. It's been in theaters forever. It made over $100 million worldwide. Wow. And it's become the third highest US box office foreign language film grosser. Okay. Do you know what number 1 and number 2 are?
It won Oscar, the Academy Award.
Parasite?
3 years ago.
Actually, Parasite's number 4.
What? Wow.
It beat Parasite.
What's that 100? What's that one called? The 99? No, it's a number. It's a number.
Number 1 is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
I was gonna say it. I just didn't know
which made a ton of money way back in the day.
Yeah.
And then number 2 is Life is Beautiful, the Roberto Benigni Holocaust movie, also from maybe the late 90s, early 2000s. It was in Italian language. And then this one.
Wow.
And it was only supposed to be in theaters for 1 week.
Yeah.
Which is surprising that after that 1 week, they saw that it had enough success to be like, maybe a little bit more.
And it expanded.
And then just a little bit more.
Kept going and word of mouth.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I'm really glad. If you haven't seen it, you can check out the review we did of it. It was myself, Brandon, Coy, and it was Jordan.
Yes, and I think like big picture, this is a lighter year for theatrical releases.
Yes.
So the strikes and different delays. We're not going to get as many big movies. So I'm hopeful that we get more like positive small stories like Godzilla -1. And maybe, because it had more oxygen, because it wasn't competing with as many big releases.
That's true. Yeah.
More people were able to discover it and fall in love with it. So hopefully we get more of that in 2024.
If I may, my friend has written, directed, and starred in a film that's hit cinemas on the 2nd of February called Scrambled. Lee McKendrick is a one-woman powerhouse, and she's made this comedy that actually talks about sort of a woman freezing her eggs. And she sent me that script after I went through a bout of freezing my eggs. And she was just like, this is such an unspoken topic, and so she made it funny. And then my manager said he saw it over the weekend, and he's like, I had no idea that that's what women went through. So it's an educational piece to all you duty nerds out there. Go see Scrambled. Thank you.
I've seen a lot of people saying great things about this. Too. I recognize the
she's
poster.
a powerhouse.
Oh,
it's very, very funny.
Yeah.
Friend of the show.
Small. Well, you said it. It's the smaller movies that are going to make it big this year.
Absolutely. In Marvel news, there's been a lot of comments over the last few days from some prominent MCU actors saying they either want to return, or there's a possibility, or a guarantee that they will return. The two most recent. Josh Brolin was doing an interview where he mentioned, he told comicbook.com, about returning as Thanos. You know, I hear kind of like through the grapevine that they're going to bring him back.
I call a bluff.
Oh.
Yeah?
I interviewed Josh Brolin. I wouldn't know what mood he was in that day. I think he was having a go. I think he was having a laugh. I think he was puppeteering that moment a little bit. Or it's the fact that this character doesn't seem to die across the platforms and that, you know, he's going to lend his voice maybe to a what if.
He's shown up in
He
What
was,
If and-
the way the question was phrased was something like, did you know that Thanos is like one of the most killed characters across the MCU? So between What If and like mentions from like the Illuminati and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you know, he seems like he's aware of What If, so that's why I'm like, maybe he is talking about that and he'll come back for the voice.
It's a safe
Interesting.
thing.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, no mention of if there's a chance for Cable to return.
Oh,
of course,
yeah.
Josh
Make
Brolin,
that.
one of the MCU double dippers. Or I guess, you know, Deadpool 2 wasn't technically MCU, but
Yeah, but I mean, his Cable's really good.
It's so
great.
good.
so good.
probably
actually
closer
think-
to his real energy than Thanos is, maybe,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that after the interview that I had with him, he's actually gone into my top 5 best interviews.
wow, really?
My favorite people to interview.
Why is
Yeah.
that?
He's just wonderful. Like in the way that he speaks to you, you almost are like, have we met 10 times that I'm not aware of? You're talking to me like we're friends.
That is Riz right there. That is a
Riz.
level of charisma. Can you?
I will say this right here, right now. He could.
Hell yeah, dog. What? Can you give us one other of your top 5?
Yeah, I can list them all out.
Oh, please.
Coming in at number 5, Josh Brolin.
Great.
Coming in at number 4, Charlize Theron. I think I'm missing someone already. Coming in at number 3, Hugh Jackman.
Wow.
I did. I missed someone. Coming because number 1 is Keanu Reeves. Keanu
Oh,
Reeves,
that would make
Hugh
sense.
Jackman, Charlize Theron, Josh Brolin. Who else was there? Maude. I'll come back to you.
We could cut this, but have you interviewed Felicity Jones before?
Yes.
I liked her. I didn't interview her, but she was very nice when I was working on the crew side. She came around and introduced herself
I
to
like
everybody.
that. Yeah, no, she's
and not
very
everybody
sweet.
does that during the
She's
interview.
very sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, all this to say, Josh Brolin, he said maybe. You know, he's heard that they'll bring Thanos back.
Yeah.
Who's the next person?
And then at MegaCon this weekend, Paul Bettany, Vision, and White Vision, speaking of double dippers, said that in any way, shape, or form will Vision return, is what he was asked. Or are you going to return to the MCU? And he replied, well, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't I? Yes, 100%.
Okay, so this is a very different kind of quote. You will understand that, and I'm using this as an entertainment reporter's brain here. The first one was somewhat vague. Heard it through the grape, not naming names, could be air of absolute vagueness. When Bettany put 100% after that, zero wiggle room,
Yeah.
not vague at all,
Yeah.
explicitly black and white in that moment. It is an absolute, and so I think that there's something happening here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the Vision Quest, Vision Center Disney Plus show has been in like various stages of early development since the first round of Disney Plus shows. Right after WandaVision, they've been talking about that. And I think it got kind of like, it was always on the long-term slate. And it kind of got moved around and delayed. And I think it's gone kind of cold. But
Yeah.
Well, refresh my memory. What's that one about?
great question.
I don't think anyone knows. I mean,
Vision. It was about Vision.
That
It
is the
was-
real quest that we are looking for.
It was, it was Vision in this new form, like the white Vision kind of going around. Maybe we speculated, learning more about humanity, learning more about like what existence was potentially. I mean, it was just announced pretty much like shortly after the finale, I imagine just a week or two. It was very close to that. But yeah, it had appeared on the credits for like the Writers Guild, like these are the people who are working on it, and then it was removed, and then it got put back again. So I guess it seems like he could be returning in this, or do you think that, kind of given what Josh Brolin has said, do you think that the original Vision would return? Do you think that's something that like fans would really like go crazy for? Like, what do you
It was
think?
like a prequel series to
Or they
Infinity
pull him
War,
in from like,
or-
a portal.
an alternate?
I
Yeah.
will say that I thought WandaVision did such an impeccable job of dealing with his grief, of dealing with the fact that he has died. So I always think it's a bit cheap to sort of like have them tell an incredible arc, the aftermath of it, and then sort of to bring him back in like a previous thing, it kind of undoes all of that.
Yeah, I can't remember if there were some storyboards from What If Season 3 that I can't remember if Vision was in those. But anyways, what were you saying, Zach?
Well, I was just gonna pitch. What if we're able to like pull alternate characters and whatever? What if it's White Vision and Baby Groot two naive baby-type characters, just like encountering vending machines, encountering escalators, being like, "What is this? How does it work?" You know what I
The fact
mean?
that they can't have a proper conversation.
Hell yeah.
And if I have to listen to Vin Diesel's "I am Groot"
But think
compilation,
about
I'm
like,
out.
no need for closed captioning. It works in every language and every culture. You know what I mean? There's just no words. It's perfect.
Yeah, that'd be
Mr. Bean
incredible.
pulled it off. I'm a millennial.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to
That's
Mr.
two.
Bean.
That's two.
Yeah.
Vision, famously the Mr. Bean of the MCU.
Yeah, that's right. Nothing but slapstick comedy from old Viz.
Yeah.
I would love to see. Yeah, it's tough. We run into this all the time when people talk about bringing back RDJ or Chris Evans, right? And it's like
Money.
we love those portrayals, we love those actors, we love those characters. Like, do we risk going back to the well too much?
Yeah.
And it not only not being as effective the more we come back, but also maybe having some kind of a negative impact to our beautiful experience of those characters previously.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, I do think that, I had never considered bringing Thanos back in like a meaningful way, and I don't think that works for me. Like, I don't know if that's something that actually like what the audience is looking for, or at least I'm certainly not looking for a Thanos back. It would be better to have like a coherent direction, or like some way that we could be like, okay, the way Thanos was rolled out, it was like over time there were these like, little teases here and there, some big idea like that. But right now we're kind of like shooting fish in a barrel.
No, two reasons. Flashback, nightmare sequence. That's it.
Ooh, both of those would be fun.
Yeah.
And you don't have to then revisit the Infinity Gauntlet or do
stories-
anything like that.
Story's still
Hell yeah.
contained. It's,
Yeah.
Yep, that's how I will allow it.
Yeah, Peter
Okay.
Parker wakes up. He's like been dreaming of Thanos. He's like, oh, I
Yeah.
can't talk to anyone about this. No one will remember.
Yeah.
Me.
We just need more Brolin, though.
Yeah, be great to get him back as Cable.
What if it's,
hopefully.
you could call it PTSD, post-Thanos stress disorder.
Yeah.
Zach,
Book it. Huh?
incredible. Writing this.
Some other actors that have mentioned potential returns in the MCU, and I think these feel even more likely, or at least on the level of a Paul Bettany return. Catherine Newton, Cassie Lang, she's been doing press for Lisa Frankenstein.
I'm seeing that tonight.
Oh, okay.
nice. Let us
The
know
new
how it
Diablo
is.
Cody horror
Zelda
joint.
Williams
Zelda
is
Williams.
directing.
Yeah. She's saying that like she would love to come back, maybe as in a Young Avengers. Say that like Marvel has been such an important part of her life and her career, and sort of continue to kind of lead that for so many other people that it's so important to. She would love that.
I liked here that she said they tell you an overall, right? So it's like, she's like, I know somewhere probably I'll be back, but
Well, like she's signed up for a number of appearances.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
probably aren't guaranteed, but she has to show up if they
if they call.
ask her to,
Yeah.
right?
Also, I was going to say, until you're on set filming, it might not. But even then, DC scrapped an entire film. So
Yeah.
until it's released,
That's a good point.
that movie or opportunity or TV show doesn't exist.
Yeah, I forget if Jay or Coy was saying that here, but they're like, yeah, until it's out and the public knows, we can't even like consider it,
That's right. And then Donald Glover.
Oh, bring him back.
Oh, here we go. As Prowler, who's appeared in, of course, both live action Sony films in the Homecoming and in animation as a live action character in Across the Spider-Verse, saying that there's definitely probably going to be a Miles Morales live action eventually, and Sony is more concerned with me being like Prowler in that. I'm too old to be Spider-Man now.
Hearing you say it out loud, I love that he can dance around that so well. Like the PR person is like listening to it.
And I will say this too. Like I think that makes a lot of sense, both because, as we know with Madam Web, Sony is motivated to make Spider content, right? So yeah, we know there will be a Miles Morales live action at some point, and not too far off. Or even like, why not a Prowler series? Right, so he has a relationship with Amazon Prime.
Right.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith is out on Amazon Prime. He did The Swarm on Amazon Prime.
Oh, yeah.
Sony has a relationship with Amazon Prime. They're doing Silk there, and I think
Spider-Man Noir.
Also Spider-Man Noir.
They're also doing a lot of superhero content
They are.
over there
General,
with
yeah.
The Boys, with
Yeah.
Invincible. So that would
Indeed.
actually go
Yep.
into that slate quite
So,
nicely.
I mean-
I will say with Donald Glover. Donald Glover is Marvel's biggest tease that we've had. It has lasted years now. I'm talking even before he was in Homecoming, because there were rumors of him being Miles Morales.
Right.
Like a while ago. And when that came out as a rumor, I didn't know how bad I wanted it until I heard it. And now it's like, oh, we've missed that opportunity. So now we're going to give you Prowler, which is kind of like the older, and can it work together? Make it happen.
I mean, wouldn't we all watch a Prowler limited series that's just like him doing crime stuff?
Because I think that out of the person who wants this the most is Donald Glover.
Yeah.
He has wanted to be Miles Morales from day negative
So the
one.
full timeline, right, is that like he showed up in a Community episode wearing a Spider-Man shirt, and a fan, movement started, cast him as Spider-Man. This is pre-Tom Holland or whatever, right?
Right.
Maybe was this even pre-Andrew Garfield?
And
then that inspired the creation of the Miles Morales character in the comic books. I think it was Brian Michael Bendis, like, kind of saw that fan movement. It was like, oh, why don't we have a Black Spider-Man? And so, like, the weird, like, he is the reason that Miles Morales exists, and then to be cast, da-da-da-da-da.
I just feel for him. Like, I want this for him so bad. And if it has to be through Prowler, then so be it.
Yeah.
We can get an amazing young black actor to come up who completely is going to crush as Miles Morales / Spider-Man. But the fact that Donald Glover he's been trickled through thus far.
What was the weird Sony Spider-Verse movie about, like, the disco villain that Donald Glover was attached to in development like a year ago?
Yeah.
And people
Hypno Hustler.
Hypno Hustler, right? A super obscure. This is like when they were doing El Muerto with Bad Bunny.
Yes.
And like you mentioned, he was in development on this Hypno Hustler. But there were a lot of people speculating that's not the real project. That was like a working title, and then it was going to be a Prowler project, right? Like under the auspices of this obscure character. Yeah. Let's hope.
And last note, polling the chat here, 65% say a live-action Miles Morales is more likely to happen than a Young Avengers.
Oh, that's devastating. They set up Young Avengers.
I know.
Well, I think I might be aligned with the chat here, only because, again, Sony is very motivated to make a lot of Spider-Man content, right? And they have been. They're pushing it out. Whereas, not that Marvel's not making a lot of content, but like...
They're doing a reset.
Yeah, they're figuring their stuff out. And though they spent a lot of the last 3 years laying the groundwork for a Young Avengers, I don't know how confident...
They don't stay young for long.
Yeah, I don't know how confident they are in
this
that.
all the time.
You can't be like, we can pencil you in for 7 years, and they're like, cool, I'm 34.
Yeah, that's right.
There's youngish Avengers.
They're just Avengers. Yeah. They're just Avengers.
I will say, if you want to watch Donald Glover be just effortlessly cool, just watch the Mr. and Mrs. Smith show.
You were saying it's a good show.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. I'm 2 episodes in. Jessica and I have been watching it separately. Jessica binged it all. She's almost finished with it. It's very good. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I love
I was skeptical, I'll admit.
I loved Pen 15, that actress.
Maya
Erskine.
Yes.
Great.
Real quick, we want to shout out, or not real quick, I'll take my damn time with it. Don't push me. We want to shout out our friends at Jelly Bean Planet. Yes, there's that one. Yep, sorry. Thank you. Everything. I'm normally bad knowing which camera to go to, and now that things are
They're heart-shaped.
They're heart-shaped,
Yes, they've got some special, our friends at Jelly Bean Planet, they've got this great Heartbeats line that is perfect for Valentine's Day.
5 flavors.
Which is
pomegranate, raspberry, strawberry, smoothie, coconut, cranberry, apple.
And they're big. They're a little bit bigger than a normal jelly bean. They're heart-shaped. And this is a great gift. Valentine's Day is coming up, folks.
It's like, oh my gosh, I look like a Care Bear.
Oh, with the little nose.
They're like 2 jelly beans confused. I'm so sorry.
This is a little 23-ounce container with this fun pop lid thing. They're these delicious, no GMO, good.
Confirm.
Good jelly beans. If you've got a sweetheart in your life, if you've got a mom who would love to get a little care package, a son, a daughter, a niece, a nephew, an aunt and uncle.
I'll be real. Buy some if you're lonely for me and send them to the office and I'll eat them. Thank you.
Yeah, send them to the P.O. box.
Yeah. Well, we don't, technically we have enough.
No,
Please don't.
For me. I'm hungry.
Please don't. Oh, look. Oh, wait. Come back to the last camera. Look at that. Hey, guys. Hey guys, I'm Jelly Bean Planet. Wait, okay, I keep moving the wrong way. I'm delicious. Buy some of me and give me to your loved ones, okay? Just take a bite out of my delicious body.
Actually, that's too far.
Click the link in this video's description. It's right there on screen. You can buy these on Amazon, and because it's Amazon, you get that nice speedy delivery. If you got the Prime, and you can get this real fast, because don't worry, it's not too late to get this in time for Valentine's Day or to ship it around the country to wherever your Valentine might be. We've been snacking on these guys around the office.
Yeah.
I was emptying out those Papa Beans on the other sizes of containers, but I like a big. I like it just there's a little bit more to chew on.
Real quick, there's no licorice in them. That's how you sell these.
I don't have licorice. Wait, okay. I don't have licorice in me. I keep moving the wrong way. It's because it's a mirror image. I don't have licorice in me. This is all pomegranate and coconut. There's a little bit of cherry. Okay, great.
It's really difficult to be an entire planet so fast. You have to.
Yeah,
right.
It's true. Yeah.
What am I, ego over here? What am I, nowhere? Being a whole planet made of jelly bean? Get out of here. Also use promo code 15NR JB Planet to get 15% off your Valentine Heartbeats from Jelly Bean Planet on Amazon. Click the link in this description. Use that promo code. That way you get a good discount and they know we sent you.
That would make me Galactus. Because I'm eating jelly bean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good metaphor. Check out, I am wearing our new Madame Web inspired shirt. It's got the full, he was in the Amazon with my mom researching spiders right before she died. Quote, this is a fun shirt. Whether you're excited about Madame Web, you can wear this to opening night, or you're not and you just love the meme. Thank you, Maude, for constantly keeping me on the correct camera. Some of us are very professional, and then it's a full spectrum. And then some of us are
the professional
she's
one.
the pro. Some of us are just rank amateurs who bring a certain kind of enthusiasm to the work. Okay, but grab that. We just dropped a Deadpool Taylor Swift inspired shirt.
Oh wow!
Look at that, the multiverse tour.
The eras.
The Eras tour, and of course that's in pink. It comes in other colors if you're not the kind of person that wears a pink t-shirt.
Oh yeah, we have
but the pink looks great.
Sarah had to join in the chat saying, "I got my multiverse tour lavender hoodie this weekend."
Ooh.
Wow, with the hoodie.
Oh, there it is. And then it's got that graphic on the back.
Yeah,
it's a great
that's
looking.
a pretty color.
We honestly we haven't come up with a shirt design in the office that like as many people have been excited about as this in a while.
Madame Web close second though. It was first before.
Yes,
the Deadpool
but like a lot of people are in Slack hitting me up being like, "Get me one of those hoodies. I need that." So grab that at nerdriot.shop. Okay, another round of headlines here. We're getting into some good stuff. This one, do we have the picture of the Daredevil set?
Yes, we do.
Boom. Little photo from the set of Daredevil.
Where is this?
This is in New York from X, formerly Twitter user OT Tristan.
Oh, he's just
taking
walking
pictures of the
past.
Daredevil set. There was a quote today too saying, "Today's a big day. We've upped our security and the producers really don't want any of this getting out."
Well,
I don't know if this is a quote that this person like went up to the security guard and asked.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is something they're just saying.
The production set.
What you're dealing
You
with
wanna pull
is
up the
not
second picture?
a reliable source.
But that's like blacked out.
Now that's interesting. Now, if you know anything about film production, which you two probably know a lot more than me, that's not just like a day for night kind of thing where they just want it to be dark. This is like a bigger security move.
So normally what they would do for like lighting interiors for like night is what they could either, when I was in college, we would just do that. We would tape the windows. But since they have more money because they're not in college, they would build out a little tent or something.
Yeah.
So that way you can fake some light coming in. It's like street light, moonlight.
Also, we know
something
they've
like
been
that.
shooting at nights too. So they probably,
Yes.
for most night shoots, they
They're
just
good.
shoot at night, right?
Unless everyone in New York complained because they do complain a lot about the night shoots.
Yeah, but it's for Daredevil. We don't care. We just want to walk my dog.
And so we were. That's a nice. What
That's
a
pretty good. I think I'm in New York now.
Really?
wow.
I was about to apologize, but I should be saying you're welcome.
What is this? Carnegie Hall? Practice. We were speculating at okay, so they're covering it up. There's something that they don't want, we've already seen set photos of Foggy and Karen
The
and
new
Daredevil
office,
and whatever,
the new
right?
sign.
And some other stuff has gone out. Clearly, they didn't care as much about that. So and they've already told us about some of the cameos. We know John Barenthal's Punisher showing up, right? Who have they not told us about that is probably in these scenes that they want to keep secret?
Yeah.
I actually think it's the first lot of photos that got leaked. Now they're upping it. You're like, they didn't care when the first ones came out. And I said, I didn't
Maybe they
think that
did
they
care.
had to.
Yeah.
And now they are like, well, it's happening to Deadpool. It's happening to us.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because also the world has shifted since they were shooting Daredevil for Netflix.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I mean, there's a heightened level of interest on the show. More people kind of trying to take photos of the set. Yeah,
Agree. Daredevil was the first one that came out as well, so it's like it was quite unknown. We weren't looking for things. Now that it's like rebooted and we are starved for information, yeah, I think we're going real ham on it.
Yeah, I mean, like if you think about Marvel projects that need to get it right to really reset things, feels like Deadpool 3, right? Daredevil, Born Again, and then I guess Avengers 5, right? Like determining like how well those will do. So this one, it's like, what if there's like a character that they've brought back that people either hate or like, you know, it's just the Danny Rand Iron Fist or something, and people are like, oh, come on.
So are we gonna just have Daredevil, or are all the other Defenders going to be in this show? Right. So the chat's going off saying we want more Kristen Ritter. We think Jessica Jones could be there. I personally want Elektra, only to know which one they're going to get back, because we've had a couple of different women play Elektra over the years.
I mean, I think the top cameo would be Spider-Man, right?
Whoa!
Based on like just the one interaction before, it's just him following up like, hey, are we all set? Like we paid all the things.
I was gonna say your bill is outstanding.
Yeah.
I comprehensively
did I forget? No Way Home was a minute ago. Did he know that Peter Parker was Spider-Man he in theory, Matt Murdock has also had his memory wiped by the Doctor Strange spell, right?
Yes, that's true. Because that's why he's hired, right?
Did that affect billing at all?
The accounts would still account for the accounting.
Yeah, is it written down somewhere? Did the Doctor Strange spell like wipe
it's just Tom
pages?
Holland. Tom Holland showing up to be like, all right, I'm actually just gonna drop this money off for that Spider-Man dude.
Whoever that guy is.
I heard you're having trouble getting the Spider-Man bill paid.
Yeah. And instead of what bill?
Instead of it's pizza time, it's payables time.
Yeah.
He drops it off.
Invoice.
Exactly. Invoice.
That's what we like to see with our Marvel heroes. Paying them bills.
Just paperwork. I want to see, what are they doing in between fights?
Yeah. I mean, top cameo or top person there could be either Spider-Man. We already know Kingpin's going to be it, but if it's like the introduction of another villain, that could be interesting. But then any of the Defenders would be huge, right, in that room. Whatever that room is. It's not like I know.
Well, and speaking of places, Daredevil's already shown up, right? Like She-Hulk? John Maslany's out there saying that Marvel's not calling, but maybe that was all
off the set,
screen.
You know,
If they are needing help from an additional firm on a case that's aligned with what they have. This is me trying to talk legal jargon.
Believe it. What is this, Suits?
I've never seen it.
Me neither.
Megan who?
Everybody's watching.
Yeah, allegedly, right?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Netflix is like.
Wait. Are you saying that they're making that up? That nobody's watching Suits?
Okay.
Are you watching Suits? Let us know in the comments.
In the chat.
Who watched Suits? Come on.
Give us your review. 5 words only.
Also, I
said
this on Slack. They just greenlit a spin-off of Suits because it's such a big hit on Netflix called Suits LA. And I said, what a missed opportunity to not just call it Dresses.
Thank you. I was going to say and Ty.
Oh, and Ty. And Ty. And you have a character named Ty Jones or something like that.
It.
And just,
Suits LA. Suits LA.
Also, I didn't. Where was Normal Suits set?
I don't know.
Vancouver? I don't know. Throw in the chat. Guys, if you could just start describing the show Suits in the chat, that'd be very appreciated.
I think that's content.
That's content.
All right, so Marvel.com put out an interview today with Bryan Andrews, director of What If, about What If Season 3, or What If Season 2 with some teases of Season 3. Includes a lot of fun tidbits. They said a Season 3 episode would be a sequel to something from Season 1 without mentioning which. But what interested me the most was that Marvel Zombies is still happening, apparently.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, you can't kill what's already dead.
Hey-o! There it is. Well, because was that San Diego Comic-Con 2022?
Yeah.
That we saw the first glimpses of a lot of stuff.
Right, the big slate.
Yeah,
right?
that was the giant slate. And there was an animation panel where we saw a little bit of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yes.
We saw, was that ahead of What If Season 1? Or what if Season 1 had already come out?
Yeah.
They teased Season 2 and Zombies, right? And that was kind of the last we've heard of Marvel Zombies was then.
Yeah.
But it's still in development.
Yeah.
Is it their answer to Invincible being sort of like a more adult
I think
animation?
so. I mean, Bryan Andrews said it'll be TV MA, it's hardcore, people die, and they die rough. So, and there's a lot of honest surprises throughout. And I think people going in colder would be a lot better.
Okay, so the less you know, the better.
Oh, fun. I also like the idea that it's a self-contained story.
But a self-contained story with characters we know that doesn't necessarily have to relate back, right? Where it's like, this is the best excuse Marvel could give its properties to just have fun, right? There's so little expectation that something like that needs to connect.
Well, and we were talking about during What If Season 2, like there were episodes of that show where it's like, oh, I would like a spin-off full season of this. I would like Nebula just being like a cop on Xandar.
Yeah.
Like steampunky or Blade Runner-y or whatever. Yeah. I'd watch 5 episodes of that.
Yeah.
Well, you can. It's called Arcane on Netflix.
Oh, okay, fair
Steampunky kind of show.
Or whatever. Some of the more fun episodes of that show, the Elizabethan Avengers.
1602, yeah.
I'd watch more of that goofing around. And so this is kind of that, right? Because this was a season 1 episode, and they greenlit a full season. Love it.
I'm just so surprised that Marvel, who has been so adverse to anything remotely MA, I think there's been a handful of swear words throughout our 15 years. And now they're like, violent death, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're realizing that they're probably a little bit behind the curve with it too. And that maybe I've said this even prior to working at Rockstars, that like their target demo is really interesting, right? It's not necessarily for kids, yet their movies are the big blockbuster movies.
For a quadrant.
Yeah. So at some point, it's like, what are they trying to hit? Who are they trying to bring back?
I think that's a great point. And I also like both of you pointing out, like, they're maybe behind the curve in that, like, What If was their first kind of MCU animation dabbling. They've still not done a ton of it. They've kind of admitted that, like, they didn't really know what they were doing with live action episodic series. And they've kind of had to reevaluate the way they do that and to kind of learn the lessons that like 100 years of television have already taught us, right? They're kind of doing the same thing of like, they need to play rapid catch up because like the stuff that's out there in animation, right? Like is leaps and bounds.
I'm going to say it. Like the first couple of seasons of Arrow on the CW is still some of the best superhero programming on television I've seen.
It's great. I loved it.
I was so into that. That for me was like, oh, this is how you can watch TV. And then it kind of was like, oh, now we're up to season 9 of The Flash. And it's like, okay, know when to quit. But if we can get back to sort of like that, I'm down.
Yeah. No, I think the CW shows get a lot of grief, but there's also a lot of love for them too. And like there was definitely something going on well with that. And that was also another like, I don't know all the history of this, so maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but like it is mostly led by Greg Berlanti, like, kind of shepherding all those projects through.
And he famously, like, those are lower budget shows.
Yes.
Certainly like a microscopic budget compared to what Disney Plus Marvel shows have been, right? And like, and also to have to make 20 episodes seasons, right? Like when WandaVision gets to be 9 or a lot of these are 5 or 6. Exactly. It's hard to do that. And the fact that they were able to do it at a high level is like commendable.
And working with what you have and knowing like the constraints of your characters, and, right? Like Arrow started off as like mostly it's like all physical violence, right? Very little like mysticism or anything like that.
The
Salmon ladder?
Yeah.
Classic. But then the Flash is like, that's where you start to see the seams break a little bit. Where, I mean, I love the Flash TV show when it first started, but then it's like convoluted. The CGI started, being a little bit like, what are we doing here, I
think there was blue lipstick at one stage. Across the line, that is it.
Well, and that's a great point of like figuring out what stories need to be told in episodic fashion versus in film, and like what you can pull off really well at the budgets and the casting and the whatever that you're given. Right? That's tough. There's some things that you need the big budget and the big screen to be able to do well, right?
This is kind of what I want Daredevil to do. I think, you have to latch on to your primary character that the focus is and have them invite in like a new arc throughout the seasons. And I think that instead of having all separate 4 defenders, it really could have followed Matt Murdock through the different parts of New York. Season 1 could have covered sort of his story, and then season 2 could have introduced Jessica Jones, and then he tries to like do all of these cases that cannot be done through law because it's, David Tennant's character, Killgrave.
Joy.
Well, he was a Killjoy.
He was definitely a Killjoy.
Definitely.
Yes.
I loved Killgrave. That was like the most scared I've been of a villain on
really
television, for sure. But yeah, then you can do all that. And I think that if we can do that this time around with the bring back of Daredevil, that would be smart.
Yeah.
I just wish Marvel took notes from time to time when watching this show.
Oh.
Is that too much of an ask?
Tune in.
Watching this show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How do we know that Sarah Hatchadorian or Christian Unpronounceable aren't Kevin Feige alts? How do we know?
That
How do
would
we
be
know?
time well spent.
We're a little over time,
My
but
bad.
speaking of Feige himself, show that hat, Dashiell. What is he wearing?
This is a,
What is he wearing?
a Wolverine hat.
A
Wolverine!
Wolverine.
You heard it here first. If they take it, if that's how we know that they're watching, they'll take the phrase.
And if you didn't know that I said it, I commented it on the new Rockstars Instagram.
There we go.
Follow us there. I also there was a lot of Slack chatter about, I don't know if we have an image of the back of
No,
that hat.
we forgot to include that one.
But there's a big old block of text on the back, and you can't really make it out because you only see the back of his head briefly.
You and I could, because we've got
That's right. Great eyes.
great eyes.
Poor
Sorry.
Evan
That's a
could never
Twitch-
in a million years.
Twitch call out.
But we were speculating on what it could say because some people in the office were speculating is there a subtitle for Deadpool 3 that we don't know about?
Yeah.
I think Eric fell down eventually saying that it probably just says cast and crew Deadpool 3 or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But there was some speculation could it be Deadpool kills the multiverse
Right.
or Deadpool, something like
Oh
that.
yeah, and I think Hector had some notes too. What did he
Yeah.
say? But yeah, it would be interesting if that's how they revealed the title. You know.
Hector's in the Slack,
Yeah.
and I'm not in the
Do
Slack.
you want to be? Maude, you're welcome to.
I know where I'm not welcome.
No, no. I don't know how the process works. I mean, I would have
Slack
welcomed you.
out of here. Here I am commenting like a fan on Instagram when I could be. It's all good. I'm just sorry everyone else had to find out when I did.
Deadpool takes on the Marvel Universe. Deadpool versus the Marvel Universe. Deadpool and the Multiverse of Madness. Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. Those are all.
I mean,
Hector
what
I
it would
understand
be.
why Hector's in the Slack now.
It would be such a hilarious bit if you just said Deadpool and the Multiverse of Madness. If you just stole the subtitle of another movie, that'd be the ultimate Deadpool move, right?
Yeah,
Tweak it
yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
You do.
Great. Deadpool's Endgame.
That's great. That's a fun bit.
That's funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's like, that's not how I would have done it. Let me try.
Yeah, right.
Well, also, it's kind of a fun way for him to announce Swan Song.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. 100%.
Plus, you know, as long as your movie doesn't come out in the exact same year as another movie, you can have the same title. And you're not using a copywritten word.
Yeah.
Marvel, you couldn't say Marvel or Avengers in your movie, but that's why there's if you Kill Shot or something like that, a kind of a generic.
Yeah.
Joy instead of
Killjoy.
Kilgrave.
Right?
So
If
they're
you Google
gonna use
that,
that
half the time, 5 different unrelated movies will come up in Amazon Prime or Apple TV.
Right,
You know,
right,
or
yeah.
Dead of Night or something like that. There'll be 8 movies with that title. So somebody else could do, something.
Yeah, yeah. I guess my debut feature will be called Endgame.
I like
Why
that.
not?
Why not?
As long as it
Heard it
doesn't
here
come out in
first, folks.
2018, you're good to go.
Well, I gotta go change some things.
Speaking of time travel, thank you so much for traveling through time with us here on the Break Room today. However long you were here with. Did you guys know? Here's a little inside baseball. We have great watch time on the Break Room episodes.
Oh, that's good.
People are watching. People are not only watching; they're watching a lot of the
true.
show.
Good.
Yeah.
They stick around, and we appreciate you. And there's probably a decent number of people that have made it this far into the video.
Yeah.
Some of them probably wish they hadn't.
That's
but
right.
I love
That's
you
right.
the most.
We did everything we could to drive you away, and you persisted. And still, they persisted.
persisted.
That's right. So you know what? Throw a. What word should they throw in the chat if they made it this far in the video, or in the comments?
Ooh.
I persisted.
I persisted.
Wow.
Would be fun.
Yeah, that's
Also
that's
to
good.
see the different spellings we might get when I persisted. Will also be fun.
Yeah,
Get
yeah.
creative.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching today. Thank you to now on screen Evan and always on screen Maude Garrett for being here. Thank you to everybody who watched. Check out the links in the description for our upcoming live show, for our Nerd Riot merch, for our friends at Jelly Bean Planet and Factor Meals. And most importantly, have a great day, everybody.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to end that.
See ya.
Later, Gators.
Bye.